Awesome, awesome. Hello, folks. Welcome. Come on in. We'll give folks a minute to get situated. As you're coming in, uh, please know that that this will be recorded, and please introduce yourself, say hello in the chat. We've got a chat for general things. We've got a Q&A for folks to ask questions as we go through. We got a packed schedule today, getting things started. So we've got message from the mayor coming up. We'll get and we've got great guest appearances from our Office of Science and Technology Policy at the White House. So with that, I want to make sure that we have enough time for folks. So call it, we have reached 170 people on the call already. You want to kick it off?
Absolutely. Good afternoon. My name is Khaled Tawfiq. I'm the Chief Information Officer with the City of San Jose. I would like to welcome you to our first GovAI Coalition Forum and fifth Coalition meeting. For those who are new, just to give you a quick background on what the GovAI Coalition is all about. The coalition consists of local and county and state government agencies that represent over 100 million Americans across the nation, united in our mission to promote responsible and purposeful AI in government sector. GovAI was founded last November based on the overwhelming demand for AI initiatives in government as a result of the rapid advances of AI capabilities in recent months. Our goal is to foster cross-agency collaboration and knowledge, to use AI for social good, improve government services, and promote vendor accountability. Before we start, I would like you to recognize the forum rules, and we hope to have a great conversation today. Please. All right, as you can see, we have a packed agenda, and we hope that this information will be valuable for all the public participant, government agencies, and also the private sector. And with that, we'll start with the next slide. All right, welcome to the new agencies. If this is your first time, please introduce yourself if you haven't already in the chat. And I would like to welcome the industry, civil society, and universities to our work. And last but not least, I'd like to welcome the public who have interest in our coalition, and also the media who can help us promote our transparency and communication regarding this coalition. Moving on, next one. I am happy to say that last November, when we started this coalition with the founding members, and those are the icons and the cities at the bottom of the slide, we were hoping to achieve 100 participants. I'm proud to say that as of today, we have over 200 agencies participating and over 500 members in our coalition, and we continue to grow thanks to the hard work from everybody from the different committee members and the encouragement that we're getting from our leadership. And with that, we move to the next slide. Just want to make sure that everybody's adhering to the forum rules. No advertising. We want to have a friendly and clear communications, and with that includes vocabulary and images, and of course, no spam. And violators will be removed from the forum. All right, with that, I'd like to introduce Mayor Mahan, the mayor of San Jose. Mayor Mahan.
Thank you, Khaled, and I'm so sorry for the delay, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm really proud to be here with you all, and I appreciate the opportunity to address this large and growing group of civic innovators as we work together to transform government for our constituents. I'll be fairly brief. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to recognize a few people and talk about why San Jose is so honored to be helping to convene everyone here. Collectively now, our group, the GovAI Coalition, represents over 400 public servants like you all across over 150 government agencies that collectively represent and serve over 100 million Americans. So this network is incredibly large and impactful already. I want to just recognize a few people who are on the call, starting with Khalid Tawfiq, our Chief Information Officer here in the city of San Jose. You were just starting to hear from him. Also want to note that Albert Gahami, our data privacy officer, who's laid a lot of the groundwork for our efforts in this space. Layla Doty, privacy and AI analyst with the city of San Jose here. And then Stephen Keynes, who sits in my office as our Chief Innovation Officer and Budget Director. I want to thank you all for your leadership. I also understand we have a couple of guests from the White House today, which is pretty exciting. So I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Denice Ross, Deputy Chief Technology Officer at the Office of Science and Technology Policy, and Olivia Su, Senior AI Policy Advisor, also with OSTP. Such a pleasure to have you all with us today. So I'll be quick here, but I just wanted to reflect for a moment on why, I think this is such exciting work. Government is tasked with doing just about anything and everything to serve our very diverse and complicated communities. And while we've seen a lot of change and innovation and increases in productivity in certain parts of the private sector, as we all know, that hasn't always reached those of us in the public sector who often are working on the most important problems and really need those benefits of technological change. We want to do it safely and responsibly, of course, but we have a lot to gain from leveraging AI and machine learning and other kind of newer and emerging technologies to better serve our constituents. Through the GovAI Coalition that we've helped pull together, I think the real core feature is that we're able to learn faster together. We can build on years of work many on this call have done around privacy and data ethics work. I know in the city of San Jose, we really began this work in earnest back in 2018 and have had a lot of engagement from different experts around the country, inside and outside of government and academia, and had a lot of learning that we can now package up and offer to others to accelerate everybody's learning and progress and innovation in this space. One of the, I think, best decisions this coalition has made is to really democratize leadership. This isn't just San Jose's effort that we helped convene folks initially. It's really all of us. It's up to all of us together to lead this work forward and each play our respective roles. So just a quick highlight of a few things this group has done in the first few months of work for those of you who are newer to the call and the group. One is an AI fact sheet where vendors can complete a template that we've designed together here when they want to engage with coalition members, and the form records the objective technical specifications of an AI system that they're offering, such as their training data and methodology, any performance metrics they use, and optimal operating conditions, and just allows us to really understand what kind of AI system we're working with. Another that I'm really excited about is a vendor registry, where those vendors who are offering AI solutions can proactively share their commitment to the ethical deployment of this technology. And we have some standards for what that actually means. And then they can opt into a registry that helps member agencies more easily sort which tools are out there and who's made that affirmative commitment to the ethical deployment of technology. So it's creating a bit of a curation function for agencies. And I think that together we can craft really good and responsible policy here and do advocacy together, but also make sure that we're actually adopting and using new technology effectively and learn from one another. So I'm really excited to be on this journey with you together. I appreciate here, state of California has begun to really lean into the AI space. And then, of course, with the federal government, we had President Biden's executive order on AI, which I think shows that all levels of government are eager to be innovative while also committing to the responsible use of AI. I'll just end with a quick call to action for any private sector companies on the call, any of the potential vendors. This is a great time to learn more about our vendor list, that registry I mentioned. And you have access through this coalition to hundreds of public officials and almost 200 government agencies now. And this is an opportunity for you to share more about your products, your commitment to the ethical use of AI, and help us get to know more about you so that we can enhance our service delivery to our constituents. So I hope you'll take advantage of that and be a partner with us in serving our communities. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for the important work you do. I think it's very exciting. We're on the cutting edge of transforming government services to better serve everyone with the limited public dollars we have. And with that, I want to hand it back to Khaled, and also again thank our friends from the White House for taking the time to be here. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. Turn it back to you, Albert.
Thank you, Khaled. Thank you, Mayor Mahan. As Khaled was mentioning, the GovAI Coalition, for those that are new to this, end goal is promoting responsible and purposeful artificial intelligence in the public sector, right? And that takes a variety of different views, and it requires a lot of different players, from the public, making sure that we are using AI for social good, making sure that our government agencies, we are ensuring ethical, non-discriminatory, and responsible AI governance, working with our vendors to ensure accountability and understanding of what these models are actually doing, and ultimately to improve our government services, and collaborating with our civil society, our university, our education partners to create an area of collaboration and knowledge sharing across us. So, where we are today, over the last 4 months, as Mayor Mahan and Khaled mentioned, we've created a one-stop shop for all documents needed to get started on your AI governance. And these were designed for government agencies in mind. I invite folks to go on to our webpage where we host all this material. You should be able to just Google GovAI Coalition, and someone can drop the link in the chat. But our templates, from getting an AI policy to a vendor agreement to make sure that you and the vendor are following good, responsible AI practices, to how to review an AI system, what questions you should be asking in your RFP, all of that stuff put together by the fantastic work of those on this call, allowing folks to be able to, as agencies, adopt them, copy them, and move them right into application. Where we are today at the start of phase 2 is really helping our governments and others, our partners as well, implement these templates and these policies and these practices in our work today. That takes a couple forms, from supporting the implementation and adoption of these policies. I am excited to say that as of, I believe, 7 p.m. yesterday, the City of San Jose has just passed our AI city administration policy. Very excited about that. But we are here to bring other agencies together on getting these things adopted, right? Building the vendor registry out so we all can understand the transparency around what vendors are willing to commit with us on responsible AI, testing use cases together, whether it be from a shared translation model to shared object detection models to any other type of AI system. If one of the first things to know is that more data and more applicable data, good data, allows us to build better models, if that's something that we can do together, we might have something really useful on our hands. And then growing out from both a national perspective, which is why we have some fantastic folks from White House Office of Science and Technology and Policy on the call with us, and internationally as we expand beyond just the states, because we've realized that cities are cities are cities, and government agencies tend to be government agencies. And while laws might be different, there are some core fundamentals that we can all work with. So again, excited to have everyone on board and address these new challenges as we implement our work together. Next slide. So with that, and perfect timing, I want to bring onto the call Denice Ross, the Deputy Chief Technology Officer from the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, and Olivia Zhu, the Senior Policy Advisor on AI, to come on and be a part of this conversation. The brief introduction before they take it away. The White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, or OSTP, has been a fantastic leader in how we're thinking about AI across the country and moreover across the world, influencing both the AI Bill of Rights, putting that together, the blueprint for that, alongside being a great contributor on the executive order and the guidance on the Office of Management and Budget. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to them. Please, Denice, would love to pass it to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Albert. It's so great to be here. It's such an honor to help you kick off the GovAI Coalition Forum today. So I'm in the Office of Science and Technology Policy, and our role is to harness the power of science, technology, and innovation to achieve America's greatest aspirations and tackle our biggest challenges. President Biden and Vice President Harris have been clear from the start that we must manage AI's risks so that we can seize its benefits. And that's especially true in local government, where AI can so directly impact the lives of citizens. In a few minutes, my colleague Olivia Zhu will talk about key AI policies of this administration that are primarily directed at the federal government. And today we are focused on AI, but this reminds me of another federal tech policy from a decade ago when I was working at the local level in New Orleans. We were still deeply in the long-term recovery from Hurricane Katrina when the Federal Office of Management and Budget under President Obama issued the Open Government Directive. When we saw that transformation happening at the federal level, we realized that our own local government should be making its data available to the public. For example, data about building permits or recovery investments. And publishing that data should just be a part of being a modern local government. There was a mayoral election that year in New Orleans, and we pitched the candidates on how we might apply these new federal policies to the local level. When Mayor Landrieu was elected, I came on board to launch his Open Government Initiative. Although we drew inspiration and top cover from the federal open government policies, being at the local level meant that we could rapidly innovate on these concepts. And we didn't have to figure out how to apply these principles of open government alone. We benefited tremendously from networks that connected us with peer cities, similar to what you all have created with the GovAI Coalition, so we could share what works and learn from what doesn't. Within a few years, the White House was calling the city of New Orleans to talk about what we were doing with open data and civic engagement around big issues like climate adaptation and police accountability. So in that same spirit, Olivia and I are honored to be with you here today, not only to share what we've been doing at the federal level with AI policy, but also to learn from you about the innovations, opportunities, and challenges that you're seeing at the local level. While we're having today's conversation, we're also setting up the infrastructure so we can keep lines of communication open as other federal tech policies emerge. We call this conduit the U.S. Tech Policy Network, and it's a hub for disseminating federal tech policies and gathering input from state, local, tribal, and territorial tech leaders like yourselves. We work through networks like the GovAI Coalition that are already convening state and local tech and data professionals, because that's the only way we can get to scale with the nation's 19,000 plus subnational governments. We are so grateful to Mayor Mahan and the City of San Jose and the GovAI Coalition for hosting us today, and I'm very much looking forward to this and future conversations. Olivia, I'll hand it off to you.
Great, thank you so much, Denice. Albert, let me know if this isn't working, but I think it probably is.
Yep.
Thank you all for having me here. Thank you, Albert, Khaled, and Mayor Mahan for organizing all of this and bringing this group together. My name is Olivia Zhu, and I'm a Senior Policy Advisor working on AI at the Office of Science and Technology Policy. Like Denice mentioned, President Biden and Vice President Harris have been clear from the start that we must manage AI's risks so that we can seize its benefits. AI has the potential to do profound good. It has the potential to help us powerful new medicines to treat and even cure diseases that have for generations plagued humanity, to help us dramatically improve agricultural production, to help address global food insecurity, and to help us save countless lives as we address the climate crisis. But because AI has so many applications across society, its potential harms are also wide-ranging. We know that AI can introduce substantial risks. Banks, mortgage lenders, and hiring managers know that AI can help speed up application processing and that it can embed discrimination into those decisions. Workers know that AI can help them do more and earn more, and that it can be used to surveil workers and hollow out or eliminate jobs. Biologists know that AI can help design cures for intractable diseases, and that it can help design biothreats that are worse than what occurs in the natural world. And we know that AI can erode the integrity of our information environment, erode our privacy, and especially for our kids, too often can erode their mental health. In October, the President signed a landmark executive order to mitigate the risks and harness the benefits of AI. The AI executive order aims to ensure that the next generation of AI models is more safe, secure, and trustworthy by directing the establishment of new standards for AI safety and security. It protects Americans' privacy and protects against AI-enabled discrimination. It boosts AI innovation and competition, and it supports workers. And finally, it sets the federal government up to lead by example by managing the risk of our own use of AI, which can impact the safety or rights of the public. And if you go to ai.gov/input, you can see a current draft of that policy online right now. I'm excited to be here with you all to talk about all these actions we've taken at the federal level and more. Thank you so much, and back over to you, Albert.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Denice. So, look, I just want to take a few minutes to ask a few questions that we've heard from other folks. I know we don't have too much time, but give you a chance to kind of talk more about some of the great work you're doing and see on how the work that we're doing connects, right? So I was going to start off with, for folks that are unfamiliar with OSTP, but I think you did a great job at introducing that. Olivia, you mentioned a little bit around resources for agencies to see, and we can drop the link of resources that you brought up. I can drop that in the chat in a moment, but I'd love for you to just go over what can we as local governments, state governments as well, what should we be looking at? Like, where do we even start?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Albert. And so I would start with the policy that I mentioned briefly, which is the draft policy for our own use of AI as the federal government. It has three pillars. It has the pillar of governance, of innovation, and risk management. The risk management section specifically prescribes principles that federal agencies should follow when they're using or developing AI. So specifically, I would point you all to ai.gov/input. And out of those pillars, I do think those risk management practices are things like continuous monitoring, mitigating bias, ensuring community input, and general good practices for governments to consider as they're deciding whether to develop or use AI. So I think that's a really good resource if you all as states and localities are looking to stand up your own AI policies. I think secondly, we get a lot of questions on what use cases of the federal government, what are we doing today? How are federal agencies using AI? And we do have a lot of good examples on our website as well. Again, all of this is going to link back to ai.gov. So we're going to do ai.gov/AI use cases. And we've got about 1,200 use cases that federal agencies are currently pursuing on AI. And that's a good place to go if you'd like inspiration on, how is the Social Security Administration using AI or any other agency of that sort. And then finally, I think, we're talking about the use of AI at, government agencies, whether it's the local level or the federal level. But I know you all also have constituents and also have researchers who are interested in getting into the research resources and, conducting AI research to further the frontier of AI technology. So we have a lot of resources at ai.gov/research. I want to call out the National AI Research Resource, which is aiming to democratize AI research by providing data and compute resources to researchers who may not necessarily have those compute resources available to them.
Awesome. And I know you mentioned, we've heard a lot of people asking about use cases, right? And I'm wondering, you mentioned that list of 1,000 use cases, and I believe that that link was ai.gov/AI use cases, which we've put in the chat. Some of the use cases that we've heard from our agencies have been around things like translation or helping just give agencies access to their own documents, like being able to find across the hundreds of memos that people have signed. Is anyone doing this right yet? Or, who should we be looking towards at the federal level that is doing that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I would point to, for example, the National Weather Service, but I think a little bit specific federal level, so we're going to do something a little bit more benefits oriented. So I'll say the Social Security Administration is doing a great job. Right now, what they're doing is they're using AI to help speed up disability determinations. So they get a lot of basically applications for disability benefits. And what they're doing is not making the determinations using AI, but instead using AI to surface potential relevant medical documents that can help them speed up processing for disability determinations. And what they've done is they've actually sped up that processing by an average of 5 days per applicant. So they're really helping their adjudicators, not necessarily making the decisions, and they're doing it in a responsible way. But this is, at the end of the day, this means that people in the community are getting the benefits they deserve more quickly.
Wow. So being able to speed up that process by basically a week.
Yeah, basically a week. And I think, we talk a lot about the administrative burden, and I know you guys at the state and local levels probably all feel that. But I think that's a really good example of balancing, not necessarily making a high-risk decision using AI, but using AI to help workers at your agencies speed up the process.
I know a lot of us are feeling that right now, of ways that we can speed up things at least just a little bit because of budget constraints or capacity constraints. If that's some of the stuff that's happening at the federal level, Olivia, I'm wondering what questions or what problems do you hope to see the local and the state level be tackling right now that can help with the broader conversation?
Yeah, definitely. And so I think that you all as state and local governments tackle inherently different problems than we do. And frankly, a lot of your services, like Denice mentioned, are sometimes closer to the public than the questions we think about. So I think about a few examples. One of them, for example, I think counties specifically may run voting infrastructure or voting processes. I want to shout out King County in particular. I think they have AI, or they're exploring AI to answer voters' questions. So I would tackle those questions which are a little bit closer to the public. You all, for example, will specifically more often make SNAP or TANF decisions. So a lot of those, direct decisions are delegated to the state and local levels. And so I think that that's really the difference of AI is going to be helpful everywhere. AI can help speed up processing applications if done responsibly, and help reducing administrative burden everywhere. But the problems that we're tackling are inherently different. And a lot of what you all do, I think it's, incredibly important to be responsible because it has a very direct impact on people.
No, I completely understand, right? There are a variety of different services, and it makes sense. No, I'm glad we have the coalition here for us as the state and local to be able to figure out some of those state and local specific use cases and tackle them together. Look, I know we're pretty much past time here, but Olivia, I want to ask you, is there anything that we should be looking out for from at the federal side that's coming up that we should be prepared to either look, adapt, respond to, things like that?
Yeah, so I'd say a few things. First, we are planning on imminently finally issuing that policy on the federal government use of AI. So look out for that coming very soon. We're very excited about that. And then following on the heels of that, based on the AI executive order, the Office of Personnel Management is tasked with issuing generative AI guidance for the federal workforce. So this is, as a federal worker, how should you use generative AI or not? And I think those practices can be directly applicable at state and local levels if you all are interested in reading that. The second big item that I think would be very applicable, and especially to the work that you all, and I want to commend the work the GovAI Coalition is doing, is at the federal level, we are planning on issuing procurement guidance for AI sometime in the fall. That's also required by the executive order. So those are going to be practices for ensuring that when we're procuring AI, we are doing so in a rights and safety respecting way. So look out for those coming soon. Definitely follow AI.gov. And please, feel free to reach out if we can ever be of assistance.
Well, thank you so much, Olivia and Denice, for taking the time to talk with us through some of this stuff, find the similarities, the differences, and know that coming out soon, are some guidelines on your end on the generative AI guidelines and on AI in general. So we'll be on the lookout at what is it, AI.gov? Want to make sure we get that right? AI.gov. Easiest URL I've heard in my life.
That's why we like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denice and Olivia. We understand you're very busy. I really appreciate your support and your commitment to AI. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Colin and Albert.
Awesome. Great. Well, now we're going to move to the work part of this meeting. So for folks, if this is your first meeting in the GovAI Coalition, a lot of the time we spend a little bit on updates, on information that we're seeing in the space, and then we dive into the actual work that we're doing, right? The production that we have of the GovAI Coalition. So let me just give a refresher on phase 2. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but phase 1, we did a great job putting together these documents. Phase 2 is all about implementation. What you see on the right-hand side is a list of our goals over the next 12 months. So 1, a support network to help agencies grow their AI governance practices, a living library of AI governance resources, central use case repository, joint agency structures, so we know how hard it can be to purchase a lot of these things, and kudos to Khalid and many others on the coalition who have pointed out cooperative purchasing agreements are an incredibly valuable tool in helping agencies vet for other, vet products that others can then tap into. A registry of AI vendors that we mentioned, and of course, a united voice in the future of AI development, right? I think we learned from Olivia and Denice that there are elements that are common across us and elements that are different. And it's important for us to be able to raise those points that are unique to state and local government, that we need to make sure that developers and the broader AI conversation as a whole are aware of. So in order to accomplish all of these things, it takes a team. A team of, at the moment, I believe we have 251 people on the call. So a team of 251 to be able to make this stuff happen. And I would be remiss to not mention the fantastic team of other folks that I have as panelists here that are serving as some of our board members on the GovAI Coalition and helping start the committees that are going to do the work behind this. So I'm going to embarrass some people and ask them to turn on their video if they're comfortable. But Roy and Emily and Ryan and Jiri and Anthony, if y'all are here showing your smiling faces, bringing the energy and the love that we have in this committee. So if you haven't met them yet, you'll get to know them soon. But know that they are fantastic and have been the actual driving forces behind so much of the work that we're actually doing here. So we're going to dive into it. Yes, shower them with applause. Yes, please, love it, love it. They deserve it. So let's move on to the next slide here. Okay, so phase 1, we had pretty much a structure of agencies are all working together, love it. Because we're moving into a much more implementation phase, we're trying to structure things just a bit more, okay? Especially since we are now bringing in private industry, civil society, and others to be a part of this coalition. So first and foremost, a board. These are the agencies that chaired the working groups in our first phase. The folks that you can thank for putting together the policy templates, the vendor registry models, the use case templates, the vendor agreement templates. We are working as a board together, basically to just help steer the ship to make sure that we are keeping things on track and we've got deliverables to meet over the next 12 months. Along with our board, we are looking to create committee chairs and core members. So we're going to walk through the committees whose roles are to fill those deliverables that we talked about in the last slide. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be seeking out people to sign up and say, hey, I want to be a core member, or hey, I even want to chair one of these committees, we'll post the link in the chat on the form to sign up for that. But we're looking for folks who are willing to dedicate some time to be able to lead those. And in the meantime, we're going to have our fantastic board members help us in getting those things off the ground. Then we've got voting members. So I think some of you might recall I've bothered you about getting a join form or a registration form signed by your leadership. This is for government agencies. A year from now, we won't just have an interim leadership, we will have leadership. And in order to have that democracy, we want to make sure that people have capacity to vote. This is by practitioners for practitioners. So the intent is for this to be for government agencies to be able to vote. Each agency can get a vote, cast a single vote on those types of leadership decisions or leadership elections. That's going to be later down the line next year. But in the meantime, we are asking folks for agencies that are comfortable registering as the formal agency to say, yes, San Antonio is formally a part of the GovAI Coalition. Long Beach is formally part of the coalition, right? We got a list of that. We'll celebrate that in a little bit. And then we've got the real heart, blood, and soul of the coalition, which is our government agencies and our partners in civil society, academia, and industry that are actually working on this stuff, right? I love giving credit to our board and soon to be our committee chairs as they come on, but the actual work happens in these committee meetings from all of us. For those that have been here since our second meeting might remember us with 100 people on a Zoom call live editing a AI fact sheet together, which I'm surprised that the Word document didn't crash, but the point is everyone's contributing to this, and that's really where the magic happens. What a time that was, indeed. So let's move on to the next slide here. So work happens in the committees. That QR code, we're going to show it for the next like 7 slides, so don't worry if you miss it. But if someone could put in the chat that form for the committee signups, people can start looking at that. I want, as folks are talking through the committees, if something sparks your interest, go ahead, click on the link, fill it out, express interest to the committee. These each have a 12-month goal that we'll walk through, and we're going to have core members and those that are chairs that are responsible for the committee success. And then we're going to have visiting members who can really just join, come in, support where they can, as they can. So with that, let's walk through each of the committees. First and foremost is the adoption committee, right? The end goal is that we as agencies are able to bring each other up and have good, strong AI governance together. What that means is we need to help each other actually adopt all of the lovely policy and other templates that we've spent the last 4 months putting together. So we're going to be having a adoption committee roughly meeting twice a month starting towards the end of April, breakouts to focus on specific items, basically helping agencies, think of it as like office hours, helping agencies adopt the templates and documents that we've been putting together. Our core members, the people that'll be running it, will be there to answer questions, go into breakout rooms, help create FAQs based on the questions that we're getting from folks, so that at the end of the day, we can make this as easy of a process for you to adopt the materials that we have put together. I will be providing initial support on this along with Jiri. And Jiri, I'm going to pass it off to you if you want to add any other little details.
I think you did a great job of framing it. I think the biggest goal will be to support a collaborative environment, one in which we're collecting feedback and adjusting either templates or tools that the team has already developed. So really the most value derived will be from hearing from others, like what are some challenges that y'all are facing around adoption and what can we as a coalition do to help support those efforts. So anyways, thank you, Albert. I'm going to hand it back to you. I just wanted to add that comment.
Awesome. Great. Yes. And each one of these committees a 12-month goal. 12 months out from now, the intent is to have 100 agencies adopting some form of these templates. We've already had some 10 or 15 agencies already using some part of this, whether it be in draft form or in applying. I can speak from San Jose. Our policy that just got passed was basically the policy that we had in the GovAI Coalition. Thank you to Anthony, Emily, and the team that put that together. we'll keep pushing on that. So next slide. And I apologize, for sake of time, we might not have much to go through questions live, but we've got some folks in the chat that can help answer those questions offline. And if you have anything afterwards, we'll make sure to follow up with that. Policy committee. I'm going to pass this off to Layla and the folks to talk through this one.
Awesome. Thank you, Albert. Hi, everyone. My name is Layla Doty, and I'm a privacy and AI analyst at the City of San Jose. I work with Khaled and Albert and the rest of our small but mighty team at San Jose to keep the coalition running. So thank you all for joining the call today. It's great to see this amazing turnout for our Phase 2 kickoff. So moving on with our committees, one of our committees for Phase 2 is the Policy Committee. So during Phase 1 of the coalition, we were really focused on creating the policy templates and tools that were released publicly on March 13th. So I'm referring to the AI policy, the AI policy manual, our vendor agreement, incident response plan, etc. So now that we have a version 1 draft of all of those templates, Phase 2 is really focused on the implementation of those templates and tools. And as agencies are implementing them, the policy committee is responsible for making updates to those templates as we identify areas of improvement. So this committee is going to be meeting on a quarterly basis, and the work is most likely going to pick up in a few months after agencies have really had a chance to actually start implementing the policy templates and come back to us with meaningful feedback. This committee will be open to government agencies, civil society, and academia. And our goal is for this committee to have released an updated version of all of those policy templates and tools in 1 year. And this committee will initially be supported by Jonathan Benke from the City of San Diego. So Jonathan, if you're on the call, if you want to say hi to folks or say a few words, please feel free.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, looking forward to the feedback from the group. I know the pace of technology change and the perspective from our growing membership will spur, I think, the next wave of updates. And so just looking forward to continuing the lessons learned with the version 1 of the policy and even making it better with version 2.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jonathan. So next up, we'll discuss our Cooperative Purchasing Committee. So this committee is responsible for connecting agencies in the coalition who have common procurement needs. So, for example, say we've got 12 agencies who are interested in procuring the same AI-powered traffic camera. This committee is going to connect those 12 agencies so they can coordinate a cooperative purchasing agreement, for example. And in the early stages of this committee, the core members are going to be focused on defining a process for identifying when there's a critical mass of agencies who are seeking to procure the same technology. This committee won't necessarily be writing those agreements themselves, but really serving as a conduit for agencies looking to leverage joint agreements with each other. And this committee will be open to all member types, and we especially encourage those with a legal or procurement background to please join and share your insights with the group. And by 12 months from now, we aim to have a defined method for connecting agencies with common procurement needs, and hopefully have 3 cooperative purchasing agreements created and linked on our AI registry. And this committee will initially be supported by Emily Royale from San Antonio and Ryan Kurtzman from Long Beach. Emily and Ryan, if y'all want to say hi real quick, please feel free to come on camera.
Sure. Hi, everyone. We won't be writing the RFPs. That's great news. But to meet everybody, I'm Emily Royal. I'm the Smart Cities Administrator for the City of San Antonio. And really the opportunity here is to streamline regional coordination of procurements and standards for cooperative purchasing. And we're excited to really create a collaborative platform that will really hopefully align the GovAI principles in our procurements and thereby incentivize the private sector to build more responsible AI in alignment with the coalition's values. So great to see you all, and we look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Emily. I'm Ryan Kurtzman. I'm the Technology Partnerships Officer for the City of Long Beach, California. Emily and Layla did a fantastic job going over the goals of this committee, so I don't have too much more to add, but I am excited to work with hopefully some of you to develop some cooperative purchasing agreements, get on the same page about use cases, and then just keep the momentum going of this coalition. So thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily and Ryan. Really excited to have you on for this committee. And with that, Albert, I'll pass it back to you.
Great. Let's move on to the next slide. And apologies, I'm seeing some questions in the chat. Just some quick clarifications. The difference between core member and visiting member, it varies by committee, but it's basically level of commitment is like long short of it. If you go onto the forum, you'll see here's the responsibilities for core members, here's the responsibilities for visiting members. It's kind of just a terminology thing. Best example is like for the adoption agency, or not the adoption agency, the adoption committee, helping people support on that. You can think of the core members as your office hours tutors, and you can think of as the visiting members as the people coming in for help on homework. So hopefully that gives you a decent idea there. So I want to jump into the use cases committee, which in this case, core members are helping facilitate agencies completing use case guides, filling out information about their use cases, and helping agencies come together around, those agencies being visiting members, around designing shared AI models. Look, one of the biggest things that we've heard about over the course of the first phase is people are trying to figure out how to use AI use cases, right? And not only just the paid versions, the things that they find from vendors, but also potentially even free things that they're just now coming acquainted with, or incredibly low cost things. All of these different types of use cases have their own sets of risks and questions and needs for guides. That's where our use cases committee comes in helping agencies share that information on use cases and develop those guides together so that they can pull from other agencies' guides that they can then use to basically share with their leadership, build adoption, roll out use cases, and develop their own so that you can use that for communication purposes. It's open to all, especially looking for support. And yes, local city commissioners can absolutely join. Anyone can join this to be a part of the conversation. End goal is that we have 45 use case guides, so basically 45 different use cases. We don't need to hit the 1,000 that the federal government has, but at least 45 strong ones that local government can use, and a jointly developed AI model, right? One of the things we've been talking about is every city has the same pictures of potholes. Every city has the same questions that we're getting from residents. It might be a little different, but oftentimes these things fall into the same buckets, and being able to develop a model that applies to all of us might be able to have more robustness, stronger training data, more accessibility than one of us could alone. So that's really where our goal is. Jamie, Roy, I'm going to pass it to you if you want to add anything else on this.
Yeah, thank you. This is Roy Fernando. I'm the Chief Innovation Technology Officer for Cleveland. Just to let you know, I believe this is where the rubber hits the road, right? And this is where the exciting part really comes in, because what we're really trying to do is identify those AI solutions that can really impact and support a local, county, or state government's objective in bringing services to its constituents and improving services, bringing value to the constituents, and essentially creating that trustable government solution that we can bring to the community. So if you're interested in getting your hands dirty in AI solutions and local government use cases, talk to Jamie Waskalos, which is my co-leader in this policy committee and so on. But just let us know if you can join us. It'd be interesting.
Thank you, Roy. Hi, everyone. My name is Jamie Waskalis. I'm the CIO of the City of St. Paul, and I just wanted to add my excitement here is around bringing humans together to really learn how to take AI and get the most value out of it. And we all have limited resources and tons of curiosity and knowledge, so let's band together and create this ecosystem for all of us to move forward and bringing value into our jurisdictions. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, y'all. And I'll move on to the next one here. We got two more. And Roy, I'm gonna keep you on the spot here for our AI registry committee. So one of the things that we brought up earlier in the conversation was the vendor registry, basically a way for agencies to see a little bit more information about vendors' models. This is based on the AI fact sheet that we built together as a coalition. Goal is to get 100 fact sheets submitted on the registry. We actually have gotten the first 5 already, so we're excited to start that process. But this is really where we want to build out a platform for agencies to use. For those that are in the team space right now, this is in an Excel spreadsheet. So goal is to get a beta registry platform and 100 fact sheets on it over the next year. So Roy, anything else you want to say on that?
Yeah, again, this one is also very beneficial for the community, right? Because what this registry, the AI fact sheet and the registry will do is essentially help a local government or a county government saying to the community, these are the vendors that we trust. These are the vendors that are participating in a responsible AI solution in what we bring to you. So getting on this registry is going to help the trust the community will have regarding the AI products every technology provider can take a look at. So again, a very, very important part of our aspect.
Awesome. Let's move on to the last one. And just I saw in the chat, yes, if you already have use cases, if you already have stuff, please share it. Go to the use case committee, fill out the use case template so that we can share with other folks and maybe find a way to partner on it and get it on the registry, right? That's share the cooperative purchasing agreements. We'll be sending out those invites shortly. Please share what you've already done. Last thing, external affairs committee. So a lot of people have talked about the ability for us to potentially have a broader engagement, potentially even an in-person convening. That's the goal here. It takes capacity, it takes time, it takes work. It's going to take a lot more than just 2 people on it, but we want to get that conversation started. So I'm going to pass it off to Anthony and Jiri if you want to say anything on this side.
Sure. Yeah. I think one of the biggest points here is to Albert's point, we all want to kind of get together. We all want to have some kind of convening of all the members here. And so I think that's going to be a nice little capstone event. But, for the most part, trying to make sure that we get all this information out, get it in the right hands, and make sure we engage with the right folks to send that message of the good word of GovAI Coalition.
Thank you, Anthony. I do feel a little like we're competing for committee membership. So I'll do a little bit of a pitch. So until we can develop an AI tool to automate this work, we're really going to need some help from our folks. So we're really committed to ensuring that we're working closely with our external partners and that we're setting up processes for sharing knowledge, resources, insights. Because really, I think as everybody knows, the more we can do together, I think better positioned we are to actually implement or work on solutions that serve our community. So I'm going to hand it back to Albert.
So, thanks, y'all. And hopefully, I think there should be enough people to go around, but absolutely put your pitch in. Let's move on to the next slide. I know we've only got a few minutes here. Last couple things. Just want to highlight some items up next and in the news. So committee meetings are going to be starting late April. So please fill out the form, and we're going to send it out in an email afterwards. Fill out the form if you're interested in the committees. We'll start sending out the invites to those in the next week or so to get folks on board with that. GovAI in the news, we've been seeing a lot of really cool articles put out from GovTech to Carnegie Endowment to what we're seeing from the federal level, and also a couple of press releases from our local government agencies joining the coalition. A few things to look out for. California just as in like two days ago released their Gen AI procurement guidelines. We're looking through them. It seems pretty in line with everything that the coalition has been doing. But highly recommend if you want to take a look. California's doing what they can to lead the way on this, and I think it's some fascinating stuff. And then one last thing I wanted to shout out. One of our members pointed can you go back real quick? IAPP, the International Association of Privacy Professionals, and increasingly providing their own AI certifications. It's got their Global Privacy Summit, April 1st to 4th. I believe it's in DC. But all that to say, if y'all are going to that, message in the chat, shout out. It'd be great for some folks to be able to see each other at that. Yes, can you please send us the slide and presentation and all the links? Absolutely, absolutely. We will be sending that out after this meeting. It might take a little bit just so I can write up that email, but yes. Move on to the next slide. So huge shout out. I think we mentioned earlier around voting members. So this is getting your leadership on board to actually formally say, hey, yep, our agency, part of the coalition. So we just want to shout out our first voting members joining. Again, this will be important for next year when we start voting on leadership. But thank you again. Huge shout out to those folks. And we'll send out the link for agencies to become formal registers, formal members again later in an email. So last thing, just want to say this is a time for comments and questions. Personally, I can stay maybe a minute late, but I don't want to keep anyone. Next coalition meeting is going to be April 24th, 1 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be a regular coalition meeting, so talking about things, we'll be talking about work. We might have a guest appearance from some folks that can help us with that work, but excited to have that. Committee meetings are going to start, and please, 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 if you haven't signed up for the coalition and you want to join, whether you're a vendor, whether you're government, whether you're civil society, or just someone really excited about this stuff, go ahead, sign up on that. And if you got any questions for media, you can reach out to Chelsea, and for me and the team, reach out to digitalprivacy@sanjoseca.gov. We're at time here. Thank you so much, everyone. Please feel free to send out any questions, comments, just good vibes coming our way. And I'll see y'all in a few.